Hello everyone, welcome to this brand new Multifeed video. In this video I'm going to explain you exactly what a multifeed is, how it works and how you can implement it on your store. I will also explain a lot of do's and don'ts because on some stages in your brand it's not a good option to add a multifeed, but at some stages it is a very good benefit into your store. So let's dive in, and if there are any questions regarding the multifeed, leave it down in the comments. So first, what is a multifeed? A multifeed is a feed that's targeting multiple countries on the same store. So usually whenever you have a GMC, you are targeting just one market in the Google Ads. So for example, you start within the UK. Afterwards, you can add more countries, for example, the USA, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, all of the countries you would like to add. But there are some things you have to check and have to do your research before you can actually set up the multifeed. Why would you want a multifeed? So you can scale to another market without an extra store. So everything is in-house in the same brand. So yeah, it's not very workable if you have like 6 or 7 stores, because yeah, in the end it will be a big mess. A big revenue in one Google Ads account, so you can see everything inside the same Google Ads manager, and it's very nice. So you can scale per market, see which market is working, which one is not working, and you can build the same backend for the same store. So otherwise, like I said, if you have 7 or 8 stores, it's very hard to communicate with all of these backend managers and set up systems for it. It's also very expensive, so it's better to just add a multifeed on a single store. Also, you can scale way quicker with a multifeed. It's very easy. So whenever you already have some proof of concept, for example in the UK, and you add USA because it's almost a similar market per season, those kind of things, it's very easy to add it, and whenever you have the proof of concept in the UK, add the USA, it will work for sure. So then the common mistakes. So when to not implement a multifeed. Whenever you have no proof of concept in the market you are advertising in yet, I would never recommend a multifeed, because it's not something like a way out. It's not a savior or anything. It's more an add-on in your business. So yeah, whenever you have the revenue in a healthy ROAS, then the multifeed will add something to your business. So it's not a way out or something. If there are no proof of concept on the product, so you have to do the right product research, go into the trends, find the right winners, and from there on it will work in all markets. And like I said, a multifeed is not something like a savior. If you don't do the right market research before you add another market, it will be a waste of a budget, so then I would not recommend to add a multifeed as well. Then the checklist: only implement a multifeed whenever you have a proof of concept in the market. So everything is running well, the ROAS is healthy, you're making a lot of revenue, for example 500 to 1K a day. It's a very good starting point to add different countries, but because whenever something is not working in one market and you add more markets, you will get the same shitty ROAS, the same shitty results, and it will be a big loss in the end. So like I said, you need to have the proof of concept on products as well. And yeah, the bare minimum to set up a multifeed is a revenue between 500 up to 1,000 euros a day. It's very important to have this. Whenever you have implemented the multifeed and you have, for example, already 1K a day in the UK, you will scale for sure really quick in the USA as well. Then the blueprint. I can understand there are a lot of questions about the multifeed, how to set it up, because it's very hard to set it up in all honesty. So whenever you set it up the wrong way, you will get a misrepresentation. If you sync it the wrong way, if you choose the wrong currencies, if you choose the wrong languages, if it's not converting well, everything, you can get a misrepresentation. So in all honesty, it's very hard to set it up. So I made a quick blueprint so you can see exactly what you need to do to set it up by yourself. So like I explained, first, product and market have proof of concept. So you're already doing 1K a day. That's really the starting point. So from there on, you already have the single feed, for example, the UK one. You can add a new feed in the US, Australia, and France. So after that, whenever everything is synced into your GMC, you can set up the new PMaxes. Every different country has to go in the learning phase again. So whenever you start with a single feed, you have the bid strategy learning. That will be the same with new markets. So don't be worried if it's in the first 5 or 6 days not that profitable yet, because it's still learning, you know. So it's not going crazy directly. It could be if you are, for example, on 2-3K days and you add different markets, it could go really quick from the beginning, but don't expect too much in the first days. So For example, we start a new PMax on 50 euros a day, 50 euros a day, and again 50 euros a day. Now your standard budget is way higher than usual. So whenever your cash flow is not that high, I would not recommend to do this since your ad spend will start increasing really quickly. I always recommend to add more budget, 20 to 30% whenever you're above your break-even ROAS, and you can do that in the different markets as well. So then you can set for yourself some specific KPIs, some goals. If it's not hit, you can just exclude the market, but if it's hit, you can start scaling based on the performance. So if the UK is hitting a positive ROAS and a good CPC after the first days, you can just scale it a little and see where it will go. But for example, Australia has a really high CPC, it's not performing at all, a lot of clicks, no sales, nothing is working. And I'm not saying that you have to exclude it after 4 or 5 days, but if it's not picking up at all, it's very bad for your overall performance to keep this one included. So you can test different markets and see which one are performing and which one not, because not every market is working well for your store, because it really depends on the urgency, the branding, those kind of things. For example, in the USA, they really like a lot of crazy things on the store, but for example, in France, they more like, that it's clean, trustful, those kind of things. The same in the UK. So it's very important to track what is going on and don't let a budget running and see how it goes, but really track it. If you have a media buyer, discuss it with him, see how it's going, and try to scale the winners up really quick and exclude the losers very quick. That will lead to a profitable store, and in the end, I see a lot of stores in our media buying doing like 7 or 8 markets very profitable. Because at some point, it's very hard on Google to keep growing and keep growing. So if you're on a single feed and doing, for example, 20K days, which is easy possible, for example, with home and decor or with fashion, in all honesty, it is very easy. I see it a lot. We even did 500K with one client in a single day. So it's very easy. But if you have the feeling you have everything done in your market, I would really recommend to add a multi-feed onto your store. And like I said, for the misrepresentation issues, do it the right way. Don't try anything by yourself if you don't know what you actually need to do, because you will make a lot of mistakes. And if you're already up and running, it's very sad and bad for your performance to get a misrepresentation, since you can't advertise anymore after it. So make sure you do it the right way, do it on a compliant way, and scale profitable after. So that was the explanation about the multi-feed. And like I said in the beginning, I get a lot of questions about a multi-feed, how to set it up, how does it work, is it a good fit for my brand? So if you have something like a question about the multi-feed, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram here in the description, or leave it down in the comments, and we can look at your situation. I would like to thank you for watching this video. Leave a like and subscribe, and see you in the next Merchant Fly video. Thank you.